Howdy folks, Little John in the kitchen, brew day. And today I'm brewing up a partial pale ale. Now partial is something different for the channel, I've not done it before. And this comes from a suggestion from Kevin in Bristol from the Hopping Mechanism, who put it to me sort of late last year. He put forward the option for some ingredients and asked if I'd do a partial mash recipe. So I said yes I would, and it took me a little while to get around to getting it done, but today we're doing it. So before we do, shout out to the Patreons, thank you guys. If you're not subscribed to Little John, hit the subscribe button down there in the corner. And if you're sitting there watching, hit the like button while you're there. Doesn't take much effort, just hit it. Anyway, that all helps me. Partial mash brewing. I said it's using grain and extract to get a full batch brew. Now I've done similar on the channel before. I've done I've referred to them as partial Pilsner at one stage, I think, for the father-in-law. That was basically just steeping a little bit of grain and adding that to a pre-hop kit. So it was same sort of method, but not quite the full process. So what we're doing today is making full batch based on using an amount of grain and doing a mash, and also using extract. In this case I'm using Breiss concentrated brewer's wort. This is what I got from Kev Bristol. This is a golden white, and Breiss, they're out of America. These are really good products. This is specifically made for brewing. Breiss are a malting company, a maltster. So this is specially made. This is good quality stuff. I've used this once or twice before in the past. It's not something I can get my hands on, particularly easily. I think when I might have got someone in the country brewer was in town when they actually had the shop going, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, the biggest thing with this is partial mash brewing is that it's an option for you to go from basic kit brewing, or even kit and a little bit of grain and steeping, and stepping into a mainly grain-based beer without having a lot of equipment. It's simple and that's cheap. Because all you need, 19 litre stock pot. Big W stock pot, 20 bucks. As long as you've got a stove you can boil 10 litres of water on, you're good to go. So it's just a pot, somewhere to boil it, that's all you need. Need a grain bag, which I've got here in the bucket with the grain. They're easy to come by, they're cheap. This one is it's a new bag from Kegland. They've just released these ones. They're a very heavily reinforced, looks like a really good bag. I think they're like $8. I'll be getting one of these out on the Patreon giveaway at the start of March, along with a couple of hop socks, which we'll see what I do when we get to hopping. But anyway, as a simple method, get you through. Small mash in here. We top up with some extract. We do a hot boil. Well, sorry. We mash this. You'll see, it's a very simple process. Once it's mashed, we do a boil. We do some hops. Add some extract into this. Mix it all up. We'll have somewhere around 10 litres in there. We add that to the fermenter. We'll top it up to 23 litres with the water, pitch yeast. Simple. Very simple. All I've done at the moment, I've put 9 litres of water in here. 9 litres of water, I've got it up to, it's sitting on, I'm hoping, about 68 degrees. Which should be pretty close. We want to mash the grain at around 65 degrees, if we can, somewhere in that sort of vicinity. Okay, that's sort of sitting about 66. So that's all good. That mid-60s range is nice. Anywhere from 60 to 70 will mash without a problem. The lower it is, the more fermentable the wort will be. and I'd rather it be on the lower side, so we start at 65, 66. Over the mash it might drop a little bit, but it's not going to hurt us. So we'll get the grain in here, and we'll have a quick chat about the process. Okay, so I've got my grain here. I've got 2.5 kilos of grain total, 1.4 kilos of ale malt, 1 kilo of lager malt, and 100 grams of pale crystal. I've already milled it. Now that I said, this is easy. If you're if you're working up from kit brewing and you haven't got all the gear, you can simply buy your grain ready milled from your brew shop, and you just dump it in. So that just goes straight into the pot. In our bag, try not to cook it, and just give it a mix in. So this is called mashing in, and so we start off with that temperature just a little bit higher than what we're aiming for. So I was aiming for 68 to start. I think I'll end up a little bit just under that, but that's all good. Just give this a bit of a mix, get all the grain wet so it's not clumping up. And we're going to sit this now. I'm going to mash it for about 40 minutes. And after about 15 minutes I'll come back and give it a stir, and again after about half an hour. And we're all good. And this is going to make our wort. Very simple. We stick our lid on, keep our temperature in a little bit. I can lift the bag up here, get it off the bottom, because after about 15 minutes I'm just going to put tiny bit of heat under it. Okay, so got it again. I said come back in 15 minutes. I'll give it a stir. But I'll leave that, I'm not going to film that. I'll come back to you guys after 40 minutes. Okay, 40 minutes is gone. So we'll pull this bag. I'm just going to pull it, lift it a little bit, let it drain a little bit, and I'm just going to pop it into the bucket. I'll take it outside and drain it on a rack, just so it's a little bit easier. It does tend to overflow a little bit. On the pot I do it here, so again this is why ideally we'd be doing this outside, so it wouldn't matter. So if you're doing it outside, you can just throw a rack over the top of your pot and sit your bag on that, or drain it however you normally drain your bag. Pull him off, just see where our temperature's ended up at. And said you'll normally drop about anywhere from sort of 6 to 10 degrees. It's gotten down just below 60. So if you start at 68, I started about 65, I probably could have started a little bit higher, but if you start about 68, then you don't have any real issue. You want to get as much as you can out of this bag, which is why I'm going to drain it. I'll just squeeze a bit out of it now. Okay, and we'll get the stove on, get this going, get it coming to a boil. I'll go and get this drained add this liquid back in, and I'll come back when we get to a boil. We'll talk hops. Okay, I've added the drained wort back in, and we're just coming to a boil. So again, anytime you're boiling any wort, you need to be aware of the hot rate, which is the foam that will come up, so I'll just keep an eye on that. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to get too bad. Okay, so let's get some hops going. The hot rate time to finish off. Now, as I said, the hops for this brew was suggested by Kev Bristol. What he suggested for this was Southern Star and El Dorado. Now, I've used El Dorado in the past on a few brews, and I like it, it's quite nice. But the Southern Star I've never used before, so I had to do a little bit of looking online, and what I found is that it's basically just it's a bittering hop, which will add some fruit, tropical fruits, citrus, a little bit of pine. Sounds quite nice for a pale ale. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going for a 50 minute boil. Actually, I'm going to go for a 40-minute boil. I've allowed 50 minutes. We'll see with the hop stand. But anyway, now I've calculated I need 9 grams of these hops to get the IBU I'm after, which top of my head was about 16 or 17 IBU. I haven't got the numbers. It's in Brewfather, which I can't print because I'm a cheap ass bastard and I don't pay for the premium version. If I'm in the garage and I run it on the laptop, I can check. I think it was about 18 IBU, but because we're boiling such a small amount of wort, we aren't going to get the full utilisation of the hops because they're going to be too much hop oils in the water to fully extract. So I'm going to look for about extra 10% just to allow for that. So I'm actually going to go for 10 grams instead of 9. Get our 10 grams of hops. Now, as I said, I've got some new hop bags. Now these are the same hop socks that I've been using. They're a big long one. I'm getting these from Kegland. They sent me the grain bags instead of these. My old ones are these, which I've had for probably 2 years now. Are just reaching the end of their life, so I've got some more. These ones real bloody dear, over a couple of dollars each. Alright, so 10 grams of hops in there. Just tie them off, nice and loose. And in he goes. Got just a gentle boil. And I'm going to set this for half an hour and we'll come back and then we'll look at getting our next lot of hops in. Okay, going 30 minutes on the boil here, so I'm going to stick in our next edition. This is a 10-minute edition, so we're looking at El Dorado, and it's all El Dorado from now on. So this one's going to go in now. I'll drop him in. That's going to go for 10 minutes. So the next edition will be in 8 minutes. And so that's 11 grams gone in now. I'm going to drop another 20 grams in with 2 minutes left in the boil. Then when the boil's finished, I'm going to drop in a hop stand. turn the temp off, pop the lid on, let this sit for 15 minutes, and then we're going to go back out to the garage and get this into the fermenter and finish it off. Okay, 2-minute addition going in. Okay, that's the end of the boil. Flame out addition going in. Heat is off. I'm going to pull this off the heat. Lid on. And going to let that sit now for 15 minutes. So basically doing a hop stand. Letting all the Dorado now just steep up and get nice and juicy, plenty of flavour. Then once that's done, I said we'll go to the garage. I've got the Fermzilla out there. It's in the fridge at the moment. It's got about 12 litres of water in it, coming down to fridge temp, which I'm hoping between this and that should get us down to coolish temp. Probably not cool enough to pitch just at the moment, but it will stop this hop activity from going on, which is the main thing I'm looking for. I'm not going to chill this. You could take this once the hop stand's done, then stick it into a water bath and cool it. There's not a lot of liquid in there. It's not going to take a lot to cool it, but so I'm going to go the other way. It's going to go straight into the fermenter. Let it chill that way. That'll be good. So we'll come back and have a look at that shortly. Okay, hop stand completed. We're out in the garage / brewery, whatever you want to bloody call it at this point in time. We'll get these hop bags out. And again, we just want to get a little bit of the goodness out of them. Make sure they're not bloody taking too much of our precious flavours. Now you could have cleaned your grain bag out and just used a single grain bag for all these hops. I do like to put them individually, just so they're bloody not sort of building up too much in the one bag, and maybe reducing utilisation, especially when you're in a smaller amount of water like this. If you're doing a full batch, normally it's not really an issue. That'll do us. That'll do us. And again, if you wanted to, you could get in there and give them a bit of a squeeze out, or stick your rack over it and drain them. Make sure you get everything out of them, but there's very little left in there. Okay, so now I'm going to add our extract into here. Now again, the extract doesn't need to be boiled, because it's all nice and sanitised and packaged hygienically and all that sort of nonsense. So I just need to get that in here and mix it in. Now I've not actually warmed this up like I normally do with a can. Probably wouldn't have hurt, but I mean, given that it's plastic, I didn't really want to submerge it. Let's get all that extract out. Get as much as we can. I don't want to leave it behind. At the end of the day, there's alcohol and flavour in there. give that a good mix. Now I took a refractometer reading of this wort at the end of the boil, and we were at we're sitting around 1065. So by adding this extract, I would imagine we're probably going to be somewhere in the 1080 regions here. I'm looking for somewhere around 1040, 1042 in the fermenter, so we're interested to see how we finish up. You'll often find with this sort of thing you need to make a small adjustment of your final gravity in the fermenter with a little bit of dextrose or some dry malt. But we'll see how we go. Okay, so that's good. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to grab the Fermzilla out of the fridge, just make it, because I'm not going to get this into the Fermzilla in the fridge. That's not going to work. So I'll just grab it out for a second. We'll top him up. See what we're looking at. Righto. So got my Fermzilla. That's it. There's about 12 litres in there. It's been cooling in the fridge. So between the two, we'll get a nice. That'll stop our hop utilisation. And it'll be cool enough that it's not going to actually kill me Fermzilla either. That in. Lovely. Okay, that's got us to about 18 litres. Get in there, get a nice mix. Go and grab me refractometer and get a bit of an idea where we're looking gravity wise. Okay. Now temperature tells me we're on 34 degrees, so with another 4 litres or so to go in there, then that's probably going to get us pretty close. We're in a pitching temp. Okay, and that's we've got about 1053 there on the gravity. So I will quickly run that through a calculator and see where I can top up to, because I'm probably not going to get another 5 litres in there at 1042. It'll go pretty close, but we'll just we'll run the number to be sure. Don't want it wrong. So while I'm just waiting for that to come up, just got the laptop firing up. I'll be pitching Nottingham, 2 packs dry, loud brew, and I'll be fermenting this fella in the new ferment fridge at 20 degrees, and I'll put the pressure cap on, and we'll do it under a little bit of pressure. Not a lot. I don't want to mute too much flavour. So we've got 18 litres at 1053. Desired gravity is 1042. Oh no. That tells me I can go to 22.7 litres, so close enough to 23. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty pleased. We're going to be, well, I'll go to 23 litres. We're going to be, I'd say, you know, within a point of gravity. Once I've got it fully mixed, I'll get a good sampling at a hydrometer reading. I'll put that put that in the comments down below. See exactly where we finish up. But I'm looking like we're going to be very much in the ballpark of what I was aiming for. So 1042 was the target gravity with the ingredients. So everything's balanced up nicely. So there you go. Partial brewing. Fairly straightforward. I said not a lot of equipment. You can, certainly don't need a Fermzilla. You go to your normal fermenter. All up, I've taken about 2.5 hours start to finish. But yeah, you see from here from the video, the amount of actual time spent is very minimal. It's a very simple process. Anyone can do it. 120 litre stock pot, grain bag, a couple of hot bags. That's basically all you need. The fermenter and stuff you've already got. So if you are interested in taking that next level up, going from a little bit more, a little bit more interesting, getting a little bit more hands-on with your brewing, this is certainly a way of doing it without spending a lot of money. I'm really interested to see how this turns out, in a couple of weeks' time. What she finishes up like. But like anything, if you are doing any brewing you're doing, keep your notes so you can work and adjust. Obviously, this method it's harder to calculate your exact results with what they call hop concentration factors and your dilution of water and things like that. So it is a very important thing to be taking measurements and accurate notes so you can adjust with your brewing. And as I said, this is a fairly multiple hops in the pale ale. If you're just doing a reasonably basic smashed beer with a bit of addition and maybe some late hops, very simple. But yeah, that's it. So I look forward to seeing you in I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. We'll have a bit of a taster and see how it is once you're out of the fermenter and done. But for now, any questions, any comments, stick them down the bottom. Patreon, thumbs up. Cheers, guys. I said, if you subscribe, cheers. If you're not, hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button if you haven't. Kev Bristol, mate, big thumbs up for the idea and the suggestion, and the good deal on the malts. If you're interested in stuff, guys, hops. I don't know if you're going to work with the extracts, but extracts cheap. Malt, dry malt extract particularly. Check out the hopping mechanism, there's links below. And I said links below for mates rate the grain supplier as well for this brew. So that's me, I'm done. Little John, I've actually got nothing to drink, so but either way, till I see you again, we're brewing beer, drinking beer, are we talking beer? Good brewing.